This is the best printer for the price period. I have been using it for a month now and have CR10V2 that I can compare it to print quality, assemblies and overall experience. Let's start with CR10V2 first. The printer came almost fully assembled, took me about 30 to 45 minutes to set it up and start running my first prints. Since this is my first printer, CR10V2 it is, it took me about 2 weeks to figure out how to print. First I had layer adhesion problems, then bed level. I had to learn all that before my prints start to turn up somewhat ooky. The model that they provided on the memory card printed perfect, but my prints were failure after failure. About 2 weeks into it I finally figured it out and started to print. My abs prints and peak were warping and made those prints as a complete failure or somewhat deformed. So I built the enclosure box for it, which turned out to be huge because of the build volume that CR10V2 provides, the height of 400mm. So the prints start to turn up somewhat good. The problem with it though, it shuts off at 258C if you're trying to print high temp filaments. So I ran into temp limit. I know that I could have changed hot end and get it to higher temp, but I got no experience to do that, and because it is my first printer I was afraid of breaking it. So I start to upgrade it a little by little. First I got the touch sensor for bed leveling that comes with instructions and video how to set it up. After I tried to set it up for 6 to 8 hours days, I failed and still can't get it to work. I contacted QIDI. First they respond like 5 days later, second they want me to video the whole procedure of the fail and saying that it might be a wire problems and to video wire diagram on the main board and th. But because it's a failure and now it's in the enclosure, it's not an easy job to do just to make a video for them for the failure that they have. So then they came up with a titanium direct drive bolt-on upgrade for the CR10V2 that I got from their own QIDI website. After installing at the drive, where instead of feeding the filament into hot end it actually spit it out. So again there is wire issue that I had to figure out with the risk of burning the printer down. At the end I figured it out and switched wires pins and it started to work. So with the do-it-yourself box material that cost me $130 plus PL touch sensor $59.00 plus direct drive $65.00 plus printer $540, lots of time, patience and frustration, you got a printer that BL touch auto bed leveling that still don't work with a direct drive and a crappy box enclosure $800 printer. Comes completely assembled. You start print in 15 minutes. After my first print I had failed and my print got stuck to the build plate so hard that I ripped off a chunk of the plate trying to remove the print. It happened because CR10V2 and QIDI level their beds in completely different way. While CR10V2 needs the paper to have lots of friction on it between hot end and plate, QIDI printer needs just a slight friction. So I contacted the QIDI and they sent me 2 new print beds within next 2 days, but while I waited for it to arrive I was printing on the same bed, just flipped it on the other side because they have 2-sided magnetic flexible bed, which is awesome. Anyways, about a month printing I had like 3 failed prints and it's totally my fault because I were using same setting that I used for CR10, but after I updated their Cura based slicer to the newest version I start to use just that. Click link in description for more reviews.